I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Robert. I appreciate it, and I always enjoy talking with you, my friend.
The new album is out. You have to be very happy with the response to it and also in creating a new chapter in your history. I wanted to ask you, do you feel that this is your best work?
That is damn, that is a loaded question, Robert. I want to say it's me like evolving and trying different things. I always try to, put my best foot forward with every single, every EP. This being my second album. It was a bit challenging for me because I've always been someone that believes like less is more, especially like, in nowadays when it's hard enough to keep people's attention spans as it is.
Sure.
Um, for a 3 minute song, uh, 15 or 20 minute EP, now we're looking at a 30 plus minute album. It's not exactly an easy pitch. So, I like to think like for what it was for kind of breaking out of my comfort zone, it's the best album that I have released. I wouldn't say it's exactly like this is the best Jonathan Panetta work per se, but like that's up to interpretation because maybe someone listens to it and there's a song on there that is someone's favorite Jonathan Panetta song, which is just awesome.
Sure.
Some of the tracks have really connected to me and are up there. Um, Maybe as this goes along, I'll kind of deep dive into some of them. But there's been songs on my previous past two EPs that are still like probably my favorite to perform live, my favorite for sound quality. But it's up there for sure, absolutely.
When I heard the album, to me, it struck with me because of the fact that you went on to different directions. And in listening to the tracks, I feel a more closeness to you as a person. I feel there's a lot of heart in this album, and it really sticks out.
Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Was there I was gonna say, was it throughout the whole album, or was there any tracks in particular that
Um,
you
a-
felt
abs-
like that closeness?
Actually, throughout the album, because I felt like
Okay.
the album was a journey in its own. And we start out with a title track and it comes on strong. And you get a certain feeling and emotion through it. And it also comes into the second song as well. I feel that they're, in a way, kind of tied when you listen to the album. And that brings me to another question I want to ask you. When you were creating this album, was there a point where you said, wow, this album is taking an identity that's all its own?
Um, yeah, I would say like long in advance, like for like most like batch releases, like an EP or a couple
Mhm.
singles, like I always try to make sure they kind of correlate with each other. I know sometimes people will listen to songs randomly, but like I'm very much still of the day where like if I'm listening to an album, I want to listen to it in order from track one to however many tracks there are. Um so like looking back at some of my past releases, like my 2022 EP Turn the Tables, I wanted to make sure all of them could kind of correlate to having a bad situation or fighting a bad situation and turning it into something good. Um my 2024 EP, Hate, Love, and Life. Though they had different topics, I made sure to kind of be like, okay, those are your three. Some of them will be about hate, some of them will be about love, some of them will
Sure.
be about life. So then when Not Weak Minded kind of came around, um, what some people may not know is I was originally considering having the album be Can I Borrow Your Electric, actually. But then I thought, like, well, the musical innuendo and like gestures there, like giving someone or doing someone a favor and being kind, which I'm all for. But when I looked at it was basically like a tally, like how many of these tracks relate to being there for somebody, and how many of them relate to kind of fighting off negative views and a negative mindset from society, which I felt like some tracks like Yesteryear and Heal You specifically um can kind of, be more on the can I borrow your electric, like being there for
Sure.
someone, but it's also being there for someone mentally and emotionally. So I felt like as much as it kind of lent towards, being there for someone, it had like a meaning a little more below the surface than that. So that's why I ultimately ended up choosing it to be Not Weak Minded over Can I Borrow Your Electric.
And then speaking of yesteryear, what was it like working with Neither Cadillon?
It was incredible because I was going through quite a few people that I wanted to fill that role for yesteryear, and some people like either they fell through the cracks or they liked the guitar riff but couldn't really like find a hooky enough melody for it. So it was kind of casual in the beginning, and Jamie of Neither Could Dylan was just like, yeah, I'll give it a shot,
Hmm.
and sent me a demo. I thought it was fantastic first time listening to it. So I was like, okay, can you just remember that? And then let's just do it again once I bring you in studio. And I'm like, yep, absolutely. All right, cool. It was a very just like, are you down to do this? You're down, I'm down. Okay. And um some of like the harmonies and stuff we didn't pre-plan. Some of them were just kind of like talking it through while we were in the studio. And Jamie and Neither Could Dylan was just really good at like following my flow, following my directions, and at the same time like making it her own thing, and how, she sings and pronounces things, and I think it just turned out incredible.
I wanted to ask you as well, in the making of the album, what song went through the biggest changes from its initial writing to being laid down as a track?
Oh man. That's a good question. I'd like to think either Love Struck Fantasy or possibly the Ballad of Bailey and Winston, but I would maybe say Love Struck Fantasy more because I knew the Ballad of Bailey and Winston was very like Green Day, Blink 182 inspired, and is about my cat and my deceased dog who was alive then when the track was made. And like it's about animals. It's kind of like
Mhm.
fun, easygoing vibes. It definitely has to be punk. But Love Struck Fantasy, it always had a dark or darker meaning to it. I was originally gonna have it take a different turn and have it to be about like a broken home or a broken family. Um, and I think like the very first takes I did, instead of saying um Love Struck Fantasy, I think I actually said like Broken Family.
Ah, okay.
But just kind of took a turn. And the track is what it is, how you hear it today.
And I wanted to ask you as well, as a reviewer, I see things in a certain light and a certain meaning in the things I hear audibly. I wanted to ask you if you could, if there is like a nuance in a song that you feel the average listener wouldn't pick up that really meant something to you,
Like, is there a song for me
like
that
a
means something
lyric
to me?
in a song that really sticks out to you, but you feel the ordinary fan may not pick it up.
Um, well, is actually kind of recent. I think it was off of I think their album last year. Yeah, I think it was just their newest album last year. Um, I've always been very public about being a big fan of 3 Days Grace.
Mm,
And I think it was maybe when I was writing Heal You, um, because I wanted an acoustic song um that maybe could also be like turned into a full band song at some point in the future, but they have a song off of their newest album, Alienation. And I think the track is called Never Ordinary. And just the kind of vibe and energy of that song, like, the world thinks like you're this and you're not that great, and you want to just fit in with all these people that don't see the real you. I think the line was, why would you want to fit in when you are drenched in gold? I think that was the line. And that just really like struck a creative mind for me.
mm,
Um, and then I was writing Heal You, and just like the vibe of it, like the night turning cold, people not seeing you, I thought like, well, let's look at it like, why do those people want to blend in with the crowd of people that don't even accept them for who they are? Um, Probably because something has hurt them and they're feeling hurt inside. So that's kind of where Heal You came around, to kind of like reiterate, like, you're not an ordinary person, you're an exceptional person. You're not weak-minded because you're feeling this way. Like, let me help heal you so you can see for yourself the amazing person that you are.
yes. And and speaking of this album, I wanted to ask you, what's the next step for you?
Um, Honestly, just getting more outreach. Like, I'm always like very like kind of locally focused, but I want to go like beyond my front door, beyond my city. I'm in about a month from now, or maybe like 3 weeks, I'm actually going to be taking a little trip around Canada, and if not at a show, like I'm trying to contact bookers, but if not a show, just like going to open mics in other provinces and just talking with people, shaking hands, just being your everyday musician, because we all have aspirations to want to have these sellout big shows, make a lot of money, all that, celebrity fun stuff. But
Or
honestly, it's just one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and a different city, a different town. If I can make someone feel something, feel better about themselves, they tell me, that song really resonated with me. I really enjoyed it. That's uh that's mostly what I can ask for, man, honestly.
and I wanted to ask you as well, because I'm not familiar with Canada. I wanted to ask you, are there still record stores there?
There are a few. Most of them I think are downtown pretty much. I've always been the type to actually buy online instead of going to a record store. I'm lame like that. That's but they are around. They are around for sure.
I know they're finally making a comeback here in the States, and it makes me so happy because it reminds me of the
Ooh,
moments when I was growing up and buying that vinyl and having it in my hand, taking it home and ripping that shrink wrap off.
might
It's
be the days,
experience you
man.
don't get with digital, you know.
Absolutely.
And we talked about before personally with each other about your love of the Beatles and the Stones. I wanted to ask you, those were two different types of songwriting, but yet they were so good what they did. I wanted to ask you, what is your connection with the two bands?
Um, I'd say like in terms of like meaning to help me like write like my own work, the Beatles definitely resonate with me more because they make me think more. Like I find like a lot of Beatles work is not like a clear meaning,
Right.
which is, something I've been kind of challenging myself to do. Not that, clear meanings are a bad thing, but like songs that make you think like, oh, let me go back and hear that part again. Let me read over those lyrics again. Like, what's the song about? Like that is definitely a goal I try to do with the more and more songs I write. Whereas the Rolling Stones, there might be a few that, have like a not so clear meaning. And if you're a Rolling Stones fan watching this, leave those in the comments. But like just off the top of my head, like Painted Black, Wild Horses,
Hmm.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, like they all are very straight and to the point, right? It's kind of the
Sure.
opposite of the Beatles, but that's what rock and roll was found the foundation of it. So,
Absolutely. And and now that the album is out, what is the best way to get a physical copy of this album?
so I have a few physical copies on me. It's a very limited batch. I've been offering if you buy a t-shirt and would like a CD, I guess this is more for like my local people. Like if they wanted a t-shirt, I would
Mhm.
throw a CD in for free. But if you would like them personally, you could either fill out the contact form that's on jonathanpanetta.com, or um, it might just be quicker if you hit me up on like Instagram at Jonathan Panetta. I'll I'll see it in the DMs at some point and just say like, hey, if I buy a t-shirt off of merch.jonathanpanetta.com, could you throw a signed CD in there? And I'd be more than happy to.
And lastly, I wanted to go back to the album because, like I said, to me, it really showed not only a progression in your music, but also the feeling that was involved. I wanted to ask you, do you feel that in making this album that that will be the trend going forward?
Um, it could be, Robert. Like I'm actually like in a stage right now where like I don't really know what the direction is going forward per se, because I know when I was starting to make this, I was asking like I've done like a lot of punk, I've done like a lot of grunge. Like, how would you
Mhm.
guys feel if I did more acoustic stuff? And acoustic was kind of the what a lot of my fans were looking for. So if people want more of an acoustic direction, maybe that's what I'll do. Um, I think I'm always gonna, pretty much be in the rock genre in one way, shape, or form, but this album has a little bit of all three of acoustic
Sure.
punk and grunge. I feel like whatever is resonating more with people is more will probably be coming up in the near future.
And then speaking on them same lines, I wanted to ask you if if I was someone who never heard your music before, on this album, what do you feel would be the track that best represents where you are today?
I would definitely say the title track, Not Weak Minded. Absolutely. I think like that will give you like the surface level of what this album is about.
Mhm.
I think the one thing though is that like people will expect um more of that sound, which like you said, like Love Struck Fantasy comes in, like the full band stuff is kind of all in the beginning. Um, but then when it kind of goes acoustic and punk, I think that's when people just start liking that. It's like, oh, there's something something different in there. Okay, so that can give people like hopefully something they can, dive into and love at first, but then also intrigue them like, well, this is how I sound 70% of the time, but here's the other 30%. Here's
Sure.
what you can also find if you listen to a Jonathan Panetta track.
Absolutely.
So
And lastly, my friend, I wanted to ask you if you could give a message to your fans, what message would you give them?
just thank you for being there. This album took like a lot of energy and just a lot of circumstances like in my personal life to just persevere and get it done. Um, and I'm not just speaking on like myself, like other people, other musicians, I'm sure like they probably feel the same way. Like, we're putting music out there into the world. Do people even really care? Is anyone even listening? Does
Sure.
anyone? And when, you know, you think, oh, it just takes like 10 seconds to leave a comment or something like that. Trust me, when we hear that, when we see that it's done good for some people or multiple people, like that 10 seconds you took out of your time to leave a comment or give some appreciation, like means the world to
Absolutely.
all of us. So when we know you're there, when we know you're along for the ride and not just hopping on the bandwagon, or
Sure.
if you're new and you're hopping on the bandwagon and you're staying on the bandwagon, welcome. Thank you so much. And just keep showing up, not just for me, for any musician you support, because you guys do a lot for us and more than you may even know.
Absolutely. I go through it too. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I go, who wants to fucking listen to this old man talk about rock and roll? So I get that feeling too, I think we all do. Anyone that's in some kind of public view, we all look at and we sometimes we become self-conscious of our own selves and what we do. And maybe we spend too much time over analyzing it, saying,
Yeah.
well, I could color my beard, I could, look like a kid, but I think when I go into retrospect, I always remind myself that in my opinion, I grew up in one of the best times of music and uh
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm very proud of it. And I'm happy to share my experiences that I had with bands and seeing them that young cats like you can go, wow, man, he's seen Ozzy with Randy Rhoads or whatever, So I think that's one thing that's appealing. And lastly, before I forget, we have a common friend that turned 29 today.
Oh yeah. Oh
Heidi
yeah.
is 29.
29.
Happy birthday, Heidi. Here's
Happy birthday. You are awesome. Honestly, it was incredible like speaking with her and getting to meet uh yourself, Robert, through her. So all the best to you, Heidi. All the best.
well, thank you again, my friend, for taking time to speak with me. It's always a pleasure talking with you, my friend.
And likewise, Robert, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for having me back here. And I'm sure, we'll probably be talking again real soon.
Absolutely, my friend. And you have a great rest of your day.
You too, man. Keep rocking.
All right, take care.